Hello, I'm going to go over your Unit 2 assignments. And once you'll see this is kind of an ongoing, the projects are kind of, there used to be a one kind of scenario case study, but we changed it because it was a little bit too difficult to really get everything in. So you're going to have a discussion, of course, and it's pretty much standard project for these 4 weeks. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. But you'll see for the project, your paper is a bit longer for this one. And the points kind of, you get more and more points, and then it culminates in a final exam in week 4. But for this week, we're going to talk mostly about staffing, planning, job analysis, rewards, and then we'll touch on external recruitment. Now, remember, you have your knowledge checks, and that's just kind of a little quick quiz every week, and you had that last week. But it's recommended that you complete it before you begin your other assignments, so try to do that first, and I should have said that probably in week 1, but you don't have to do it first, but it's just recommended to. So for this week's discussion, what you're going to talk about is succession planning and explain why it is important. And this is one of those things that actually topics that one of my colleagues covered when I was in my dissertation for my doctorate. I had a colleague who was actually studying this, and that was his dissertation, and he found that most companies don't plan enough for this. So talk about why that is an important thing to do. And basically what are the benefits to doing so, to having a plan in place, comprehensive plan in place. Consider your own past or present, your own job now or past job. You're playing the role here of, you could just think of any past job title, your current one, but you're just pretending that the job hasn't been updated in 10 years and it's outdated. So what would the step-by-step process be that you would follow to analyze that job and to update that job description? So you want to just kind of go through a hypothetical scenario that you're kind of creating, really. I mean, obviously, this discussion lends to, creating a hypothetical scenario, but really put into place how you would go through the process of analyzing that job again and coming up with a new updated job description. Okay, that's pretty much it there. And that, those, make sure to do, read your text, read the lectures, and just kind of, go over that process for me. That's pretty much all you're doing. I hope that's very clear. If you have any questions about it, let me know, of course. Now, this project is it's a longer paper. It's 4 to 5 pages. It's APA format. Cite your sources. Make sure you're following APA style. This is one of those things where you get to practice that, and you'll get better as you go along. It's one of those things that you just practice and practice and practice until you kind of know, and you know it very well until they come out with a new manual and change everything for us, and that's always fun because then you have to rethink it, relearn it. So, but it's been a while since they've done it, so I won't be surprised if they come out with a new manual soon. So for this one, you are going to talk about recruiting mostly, and this one is another role play. You're playing the role of recruiter for your current or past job that you have held. Now you have to think about, if I were hiring for this job, how would I do that? Or a past job. So then you're going to go and talk about how you would recruit for that, your own specific job. Analyze different external recruiting methods. What would work, and then you have to. So what I want you to do here is kind of start broad and maybe narrow down there. So I don't know. I'm going to throw something out there for you're a customer service representative in, I don't know, Texas. So there's many ways you could recruit for that job. But there are also some considerations for your location and what area you're in. And then you need to talk about what recruiting method would work best in that job. For example, obviously in that area you're going to have a lot of people who speak Spanish. You probably need to be bilingual. So how can you find bilingual employees? So that's just a very general, easy example. But you're going to need to really go into detail here. That means I really want you to cast a broad net as far as recruiting methods and all the different kinds you could use for that job. And then narrow it down to the best one for your specific job. Consider location, consider skill sets, consider diversity issues. Because, for example, if you don't have a very diverse company, you might need to be finding more diverse candidates, and that might require more effort on your part. You might want to have a better balance. You want to find some people from different backgrounds. You might need to look harder, find more resources for that. That's just one example. You might have a specific position where there's really not many women in that type of job at your company, so you might need to find some. You might want to reach out and see if you can find some, and I guess a good example that would probably be in tech, even though it's growing. Obviously, more women are entering tech, and but that's one example. Anyway, I don't want to tell you too much because I want you to think. Try to find some unique situations and write about those. But I think you can understand where I'm coming from there as far as, you have to consider all the, you want to make sure there's no, disparate impacts or anything like that going on. So then you're going to talk about legal regulations and EEO laws that affect recruitment. So you're going to, ADA. So just go through all of that and make sure that when you're talking about how you recruit for the specific job that you've chosen, make sure that you are doing it within the guidelines of equal employment opportunity laws. And make sure you review those very carefully and thoroughly. And then, the last one is how to avoid the legal issues. So you're going to cover all that in this 4 to 5 page paper. Now, when I say 4 to 5 page paper, I'm talking about text, body of the paper, not title pages, reference pages, appendixes, anything you want to include. I don't, whatever that would be. That's not included in that page count. And basically, it's APA style. I would highly encourage you to do research at the South University online library. I do pay attention to credibility of sources. Please don't use eHow, Wikipedia, about.com, things that people can just update. Make sure that these sources are credible. And when you have a source like a journal article, a newspaper article, a magazine article, these things are vetted by, editors and panelists or whatever, and people will check into the credibility of that and make sure that it is, that the information is based on some type of research and is credible. So just make sure not to use those types of sites that anyone could put whatever they want on, because sometimes you'll even get, you'll get blogs where, anybody can put on put anything you want. Now, I will tell you this. There are some blogs that are credible because they're like sponsored by colleges and universities, like MIT has one. And I mean, I don't care if you use that. It's probably going to be pretty obvious if I look at it. You know, if it's sponsored by maybe, you know, a credible university, that's fine. But that's why I can't really rule out all blogs. But, you know, kind of ask yourself this question. Was this article, did it have to be approved by some type of, you know, authority at a credible institution to get published? If so, you're probably okay. If, you know, I don't know, Bob went online and said, hey, I think I know something about this, and made a website and wrote about it, you know, I wouldn't use that. So, if you know what I mean. So just kind of, you have to discern it. Just kind of use your common sense. You'll probably be fine. But if I do those one sites that I gave you about eHow, I noticed those, so don't use those at all. That's really it. It's kind of a long paper. It may seem that, you know, the biggest challenge in this kind of paper is, you know, I'll get a paper that's really short, and it covers, like, some of these, but it really doesn't delve into detail enough. That's your challenge. So what you're doing is you're just kind of uncovering all the possibilities here. And it'll take some time to think through that. I think the law section's pretty, you know, probably easier because you know what these laws are. They're pretty clear cut, and you can just kind of relate them to the job as far as hiring, and really give me a lot of detail there, so that helps out. But please make sure your paper is balanced. Don't spend like a ton of time here and then not enough up here, or vice versa. Try to give me the same amount of attention for each of these bullets. That way your paper isn't real lopsided. So that's it, really. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. I'm just going to go over to this. Remember, this is well, I don't want to say this is the best site, because that's just an opinion. And you might have a better site. So, but I love this. This site is so great for APA. I guess I'm biased because it got me through 2 master degree programs and my PhD, so or my doctorate. So, you know, but it doesn't have to be this. But this is a good model to use as far as the arrangement of your papers. So just make sure that you're following this. And I have not graded, I'm getting ready to grade the first papers from this class anyway, but just showing you one more time. If you want to use this site, it's a great site for APA format. That's really it. Oh, you have a midterm exam. I can't believe I almost forgot that. It's pretty sad, isn't it? And it tells you when it's due. I don't really have any special instructions or anything. You know, it's just the chapters that we read last week and through this week. And this course goes by so fast. It's like the shortest course that I teach. So it's a lot in a short period of time, I realize. So just make sure that you have read your lectures and the chapters. All right, that's about it. Any questions or concerns? Any problems with the quiz once you try to take it, let me know. It should be multiple choice and true false. That's it. And that's all I have. Actually, yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions, just email me. Thanks, and have a great week.